room for today's devotions. I saw on Facebook my friend Helen Wiltshire and said, can we flood the internet with pictures of the seaside? And here's my picture of the seaside. It's a painting. My BFG, best friend George, painted this for me in Camborne in Cornwall. When I look at it, it reminds me of our friendship and our love. He's one of the most incredible folks I know. He's full of kindness, full of goodness, and he painted this as a goodbye present for me when I left Cornwall. And it's good to remember people and remember things and remember love. A reading that we normally have for weddings, I guess, is from Corinthians. And it says this, 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. For love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, and I thought like a child, and I reasoned like a child. And when I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, and the greatest is love. Paul's asking the question, what is the love of Jesus really like? What is that love that is so different from all the others? And he answers so succinctly, telling us about the very nature of love. A love that doesn't end, that is patient, is kind, and is not envious or boastful or arrogant. It's a special kind of love, Jesus' love. It transcends all boundaries. Friends, the important part of this, yes, at weddings it talks about the love, but there's another part to this passage that acknowledges, first, we don't know everything. Some of us think we know everything, but we don't. We only see part of God's picture. We only have part of God's understanding. But when he comes again in glory, we'll know fully everything that he intended it to be. But we just see dimly right now a little bit of God's love for us. And there will be a time when we come to know in its completeness all the facets of God's love. And sometimes some of us get carried away with, am I right or am I wrong? But Paul wants us to know. He wants us to know that when we grow up in him, there is one thing that is certain. Faith, hope and love continue. They continue everlasting. And it helps me to remember everything that I do should be done in love. Everything, all things. Because that is what continues forever and always. And it makes me question today, are my actions based in love? Because that will be continuous and forevermore. Are your actions based in love? Sometimes we're called to reflect on how we act and how we operate. And love is that thing that continues forever. Let's take a moment to pray. Father God, today, may our actions and our words be full of Jesus' love. For we ask in his name. Amen.